Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Methala Chia. This program is brought to you by
I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what do I want? Do I want to become an A student or do I want to become an average student? Number 2, I want you to ask yourself, how do you plan on getting there? Are you going to put more extra hours or are you going to just sleep? Number 3, who will be with you in this journey? Because it is important that we associate ourselves with students who have the same vision as us, who want to become a student, who want to put in the extra work, who want to become better at what they do. Unsuccessful people do not plan, they just let life happen to them. But successful people are planning on how they want their lives to be. And right now, you plan on how you want your results at the end of the year to be.
Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Methala Chia. This lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. Grade 12 learners, we are now facing our final push. We are at the last lap of our year. Today, we'll be focusing on this topic, maps, planes, and other representations of the physical world. And the main topic, the subtopic that we're going to focus on, it's scales and maps. Grade 12, boys and girls, remember, during the prelim, you wrote, and then you saw how the paper was. And I was so excited when I saw the questions from the maps and planes, because this section, remember, it contains 35% in our exams. In the final exam, it says 35%. Remember, all in all, paper 2 topics, we have measurement and maps and scales and other representations with 5% of what? Of probability. Remember, probability, you'll find it in paper 1 as well as in paper 2. But like I said, our lesson, by the end of today, by the end of this lesson, this is what you should be able to do. Remember, this is just a revision. We are not starting from the scratch. We are just revising what we have done in class from the beginning of the year up until now. I know your teachers have taken you through the corrections for the prelims and you saw your performance. So now I want us to boost our performance from now on in order to prepare for the finals. Now we need to nail it. This topic, it is where you can collect most marks. Now let's have a look. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to do the following. Work with number scale and a bar scale. Interpret the compass direction and use the compass to give directions. Write a grid reference to identify location in the map. So once you are able to do this, work with different types of maps, and then as well as calculating the length, calculating the actual length or distance on the map or plans using the bar scale or a number scale. Use given map or plan to find the way to the destination. And as well, the last one, we need to be able to determine the scale in which map or plans has been drawn in the form of 1:2, and use the scale to determine other dimensions on the map. Boys and girls, when you look at these objectives, you have covered everything in class. Working with number scales, we'll go through that again. We'll do the revision of that, working with the number scale and bar scale. Interpret the compass direction, because remember, these are examinable. So when we talk about the maps and scale, it is examinable. We focus on interpreting the compass direction, using the compass to give direction, write a grid reference to identify location of the map, work with different types of maps. And once you can do that, I am telling you, you will nail this paper 2 in the exams, because it's not difficult. This is the easiest topic that you can ever think of in paper 2 because answers are right there. You just need to go through the information and then you get all the answers. Now let's have a look. We say a map. What is a map? A map is a diagrammatic representation of an area of a land or sea showing the physical features, cities versus the national, provincial map, strip chart, elevation map, strip map, etc. Remember, boys and girls, when we talk about a map, we need to have a diagram showing everything. So the map is represented there on a piece of paper, because now you can't say I'll look for the map where on the floor. No, remember everything is being on a paper. Then now we do what? We see the physical features from that map as well as the national route, because if you want to travel from one province to the other, you need to use a certain route, you need to follow a certain route. So on a map you'll be able to see the national, if you are using the national map or the provincial map or the strip chart, the elevation map, street map, you will see all those things. So a map can be represented, a map can be expressed as a plan or a chart. Like I said to you, we put everything on a paper. And if you put everything on a paper, it becomes, it's scaled down, because now, remember, let's have a look. Let's talk about Gauteng as a province. If you want to travel in Gauteng, you want to move from one destination to the other. Say maybe I am here at Kyalami, at Phakama, and then I want to go to, say, maybe Omonde in Johannesburg South. Then I have to follow the map. I have to use the map to get to my destination. So it will be easier for me. Even if I don't know where to start, I can use my phone on a Google map. I go to the Google Maps, then I read the map there, then I travel to my destination, because it can lead me, like it says, it's a plan. A map can be expressed as a plan or a chart. Boys and girls, I hope we are still together, and I hope you are following, because this is a crucial time where you need to focus. Now let's have a look. What are we going to focus on a map? When you get a map, or when you talk about maps and scales, what are we focusing on? We will be focusing on the bar scale. You need to know what is a bar scale and how to use a bar scale when you see it where on your map. Also, the number scale, because remember, there are two types of scales that you'll be given. You'll see as we continue, the bar scale and the number scale. Those are the two types that you'll find on a map, the whereby you need to do some calculations, because those scales that are given there, they're not just there for you to have a look at them and then not to use them. They are there for you to use them so that you are able to get the distance, the actual distance, because we said everything is just being scaled down to fit on what? On a page or on a paper. So that is why we say when we read the scale, remember we said a scale, we say 1 on the map represent a certain number of units in reality. Let's take, for example, if we say 1 unit on a map represents 50,000 units in what? In reality. We don't add what? The units, because you'll never know. The examiner will say maybe 1 unit, it represents 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter. So it will be up to the examiner. You'll see that when you do the questions, but you need to be able to interpret the bar scale and the number scale. Then when you talk about the elevation maps, I am not going to go through the terminologies. I am not going to define, because you have done the terminologies with your teacher. You have the terminologies in your book. But the elevation map, remember, it shows now the height, the distance above the sea level. This elevation map, usually it is used by the people who are doing the Comrades Marathon or the cyclists. That's where they use the elevation map, because they can see from this point to this point what is the height above the sea level, and then now as it goes up, whether the route is steep or it goes up or down, and then it's a downhill or uphill. Then that information we get it where from the elevation map. And then we have a street map. With the street map, boys and girls, what are we having there? This one, it's more of like a town plan, whereby you get the names, the map for the town, for your town, and then on that map it shows the streets, the names of the streets, how the town is being planned. That is why they call it a street map. Even if when you want to move from your street to the other street, you'll see, you will follow the map. A person, you can direct a person to say, when you come in from the robots, where do you turn? Do you turn to the left or do you turn to the right or what? And remember, with the Google now, because we are the Google people, I know you no longer rely on the map from the book, but you're using the Google. It will say head east or head south and then turn left or what. So we need to be able to understand that. So the street map also indicates the names of the streets. And then we have the route map. Under the route map, we have the national roads, we have the regional roads, the municipal roads. Remember the route map, we have the provincial map, we have the street chart, we have a regional maps, whereby we show all this. And then the national route on the route map, it does show where it joins it's a link between the provinces, from one province to the other. We use the national route. It will say, maybe if I'm traveling from Gauteng to Limpopo, I'll have to use N1. If I'm from Gauteng, maybe to Durban, I use N3. So I know I have to use the national route to get to my destination. It doesn't show the street names or whatsoever, but it focuses on the boundaries. So it's a link. It shows us between the routes, how to connect from one province to the other with the national route. And then the regional is around the region, as it says. And then the municipal one is local one, when you travel inside in your streets, in your town. That's where you'll see it says M14 or M17 or M what. That one, it's a municipal road. And then the regional road, it is R59 or R what. Like, for example, if I move from here, from Kyalami, then I want to go and join Vereeniging, I know I will use the M14 or M2 South, and then from M2 South, then I will join what? I will join the regional road that is called AR82. Then I know I will reach my destination. So it's simple, boys and girls, but no need to stress. Remember this information, all these maps, all these routes that you are seeing here, the national road, like I said, you see it by N, and then the regional, it will be R, and then here the municipal, it will be M. These are clearly outlined where on your maps. So when you do the map, you will see that there's no need to stress, there's no need to scratch your head, because all the answers are there. Now, let's have a look. Remember, I said you are going to deal with the scales. We will be doing the scales in detail. I said to you, number scale is expressed in a ratio form. So when you talk about a number scale is expressed in a ratio form. For example, it will be written as 1:500 or 20:1. So meaning 1:500, 1 unit on the map represent 500 units on the ground or in reality. And then 20 units on the map will represent 1 unit where on the ground, meaning the size of an ant. The ant is so small, so we need to enlarge it so that we can see it, because it's so small. Now, that is why maybe it is, maybe when they give us the scale for the ant, it will be 20:1 to say this 20 units represent what? 1 unit in reality. It doesn't mean that always it will be 1:20 or always 1:500 or whatsoever, whereby we say 1 unit on the map, it represents 500 units in reality. Sometimes it will be 20, meaning the map or the image on the map, the image on the paper, it has been enlarged 20 times. Like I said, the ant is so small, so if we are going to talk about the ant, we need to enlarge it so that we can see it, so it will represent 1 unit. And remember, like I mentioned to you, this 1 unit, it can be 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter. So when we work with a map, we work with only 2 units. We work with the centimeter or millimeters when we work with a map. And then, now let's have a look at this one. Let me write neatly here so that you can see. We say 1 centimeter or in millimeters. And let me tell you, boys and girls, I know your teacher has taught you to use, maybe to measure using what? The centimeters. But to be more accurate, you can use millimeters. Remember the millimeters in your ruler. There are 10 small segments there. In 1 centimeter, we know there are 10 millimeters. And then now it will be easier for you. And then now let's have a look now with the linear graphic. The linear graphic that is divided into equal parts and used to measure the distance on the maps. What is that one? This one, it is a bar scale. With a bar scale, we say a bar scale, sometimes it is called what? A linear scale or a line scale. So now with this one, boys and girls, don't panic when you see the bar scale on your map. That's where it is the easiest, if I may tell you. Because, have a look here. It says from 0 to 10. So it means when I take my ruler, I will measure the size of the bar to say from here, from 0 up until here. How many millimeters or how many centimeters? Remember, you will be guided by who? By the examiner. So you can use a millimeter sight, and then after using a millimeter sight, and then you convert those millimeters to what? To centimeters. Or you can measure using the centimeters. So like I said to you, with the millimeters, you become more accurate. And then you can either measure your bar from this end right up until this end. So when you do your calculations, then you'll say 1 bar is equals to 20 meters. But remember, you need to measure your bar before you can even conclude. So suppose maybe when I measure my bar here, my bar say it gives me 5 centimeters. Then I'll say 5 centimeters equals to 20 meters, because I have measured to say this bar full, maybe it is 5 centimeters, or maybe let's take it from here up until 10. So here from 0 up until 10, maybe I've measured 5 centimeters. Sometimes it's up to you the way your teacher taught you. Your teacher maybe has taught you to say you need to measure the entire bar, or maybe you can measure one part of the bar. So if you have measured one part of the bar, then you'll say, let's say it's 5 centimeters is equals to what? 10 meters. Therefore, it's 20 here, then it will be 10 centimeters will be 20 meters. And then, or it depends on the size of the bar. You need to be accurate. You need to measure. And from here, after you have done this, you can now do your calculation using what? Using the number scale. Remember the bar, we have to represent that bar into a number scale. I hope you are still following, boys and girls, because now, like I said to you, this is just a revision of the work that you have done. We just need now to prepare. We iron out the mistakes that maybe you have made during the prelims. We need to iron them out. Now, let's see, boys and girls, as we continue, the compass direction. It's so important that you understand the compass direction. I usually say, okay, fine, compass direction are important when describing one's position. So if I want to say this person is sitting in front of me, or at the back, or on the left hand side, or on the right hand side, or on the left hand side. So you need to be able to describe. And for you to do that, if they say use a compass direction, then you have to use this. A compass has 4 main directions. 4 main directions, which are north, south, east, west. And here is an example of our compass direction. This is our north, where I usually say never ever smoke weed. so they know. If I say never, N stands for north, and then E stands for east, and then south, S stands for south. On never ever smoke weed. So you must remember, never ever smoke weed. So always never faces up, and then on your right hand side it's your eastern side, so it will be ever. Then facing down it is your south, it will be a smoke, and then on your left hand side it is your west, then we say it is weed. So you must remember that, and don't make a mistake, because even if I can tell, no matter where my north is facing, even if the north can face up or the north can face down, what you just need to do, you turn your map. If the north is facing down, say for example, maybe they've given you the north, they'll say here is your north is facing down, and usually we know the north is facing where? Up. Usually we say the north is here, and then now the north is facing down. Now if the north is facing down, you continue. Then what you just need to do, you can turn now your map and say, okay, fine, when I move, do I move clockwise or do I move anti-clockwise? So when you move clockwise, then it will be never and then ever smoke weed. As you can see, even if I turn it, weed will forever be on the left hand side. So don't forget that you can turn the map when you get the question that wants you to use the compass direction, and then the north, the north that you will get on your exam or on your map. If it's facing up, we call it a true north. Even if it's facing down, it's a true north. It's the north that they want you to use. Then let's see, we said the compass has 4 main directions, which are north, south, east, and west, and 4 more directions. So meaning in mathematical literacy, we only use 8 cardinals, not 16. Remember the 16, that's where we'll have south, southwest, or north, northwest, or whatever. So we don't use the north, northwest. We only use the 8 cardinal. As you can see, we said we have 4, and then now we have 4 more directions in between. So we have northeast, here's the other one. So it means it is between the north and the east, and then this one, it is southeast. This one is our southeast, it's between the south and the east. And then the next one, it is southwest, which is between the south and the west. And then the last one is northwest, which is between the north and the west. So boys and girls, it's very important that you are accurate when it comes to the directions. Like I said to you, the Google map uses what? Uses the north, east, south, and then it will say head east and then turn right. So you need to know, okay, fine, if the Google map says I must head east, it will show you on the map. Even when you are walking, you can tell that person wherever you are facing, that's your north, and then where should you turn? Should you turn to the right or should you turn to the left? That's how you direct a person. Don't just say a short left. We don't have the short left on the road, but we have left, or we have right or left. No short left or no short right. Usually when we direct, we say, oh, no, you'll come across a short left. There's no street that is called a short left. But when you use the cardinal points or the compass direction, you use the north, east, south, and west, or you use the 8 one, whereby you'll have the northeast, the southeast, southwest, and the northwest. Now we say find location using directional indicators. You need to be able to use a compass direction using what? Directional indicators such as the left, right, along, straight, up, down. For example, turn left or turn right. Remember I said there is no short left or short right, but it says turn left or turn right, and you always follow with the never ever smoke weed. Let's continue, boys and girls. I hope you are following, and remember, like I said to you, This is just a revision. We are ironing out now the problems or the errors that you made on your prelim when you are writing the prelim exams. Now let's continue. We say when you use the directions, the north, south, east, and west, these are the most important ones, the 8 ones. Here is the 4 and then the other 4. Be sure to orientate your map for the direction in which you are traveling so that you give the correct direction. Remember, I said you can turn your map so that you actually have the true north. If the north is facing down, and then you turn your map up so that your north is facing up, and then you draw your cardinal points. You say, okay, fine, now my north is there. It will be never ever smoke weed, which is north, east, south, and west. And then we say there is usually more than one route to choose from. So meaning when you direct a person, even when you are working in your location, there are more than one route that you can follow. You don't just follow and say, okay, fine, I will only use this route to go to my destination. There are more than one that you can choose from. It is generally easier to describe the most direct route. If you want to direct a person, think about a route that will be simple. Even where you are sitting, you can tell, okay, this person, this is where they are facing. And then you take the position of where they are facing, and then you are able to direct them to say, okay, fine, if you are here, then you must turn right. And then after turning right, you go up. At the T-junction or at the junction, where do I turn? Do I turn to the left or to the right? Then you continue. Remember, you need to give the easiest route for me to get to your place. Don't give me the difficult route because I will get lost. But if you direct a person, like I said, if there are more than one route that a person can use, give them the simplest one, the direct one. Mark your selected route on the map to make sure that you do not miss out any details. If you are directing a person, you say, okay, fine, on your left-hand side, you'll pass the school. What is the name of that school? Give them the name of the school that will be on the left-hand side as they are going to the north. Or if maybe they're going to the south, they will tell them, okay, fine, if you're going to the south, then it will be on your right-hand side because now you're going to the south. If you're going to the north, it will be on your left-hand side. You pass the name, you give them the name of the school that they need to pass, and then you tell them, okay, fine, proceed, go ahead, and then up the road you'll come across a tuck shop. The name of the tuck shop, it will be on the left or on the right. Even on the mall, when you want to go if you want to go from one store to the other, you also need to give a proper direction. The mall, it has a floor plan, and then you follow the directions on the mall, on the plan to say, okay, fine, if I am standing here, how do I get to maybe Edgar's or H&M? And then it will direct you. So you need to check, okay, they said there are toilets. I need to pass the toilets on where? On my right or on my left. Okay, now you see, okay, here are the toilets. And then they said next to the toilets, there is what? Edgar's. I need to pass Edgar's. And then on the left-hand side, maybe there is this. You give me the landmarks. So as I'm walking there, I'll be looking at the landmarks that you have given me. And then it will be easier for me to reach my destination. And also remember, like I said, you use 10 left or 10 right. And give the name of the street you must turn onto. Boys and girls, if you want to go to Malibongwe, you can just say, drive straight without giving me the name and say, at the junction, you'll come across a street on the left-hand side, and then you must turn left. You must tell me which street is that one. Give me the name of the street. You need to be exact. You need to be straight, meaning you need to be correct, be precise. Give us a detailed information. Give us a detailed direction using this compass directions. It will be easier. Boys and girls, I hope now you have the basics. You remember what I have said. Don't forget, it's very important that you understand these basics so that when we start with the questions now, you know how to answer these questions. Now, this is a typical exam question. As you can see, it is from Limpopo Prelim 2023. Meaning the learners from Limpopo, they wrote this. The map that you are seeing in front of you now, this map, we call it a grid reference. As you can see, it's part of Mossel Bay, and then it's divided into sections. We have the rows and the columns. So now we say it is a grid reference. Now looking at this, it says, question, Hendy lives in Mossel Bay. The map showing part of Mossel Bay is given alongside in Annexure A. Use the Annexure A to answer the questions that follow. And when you look at this, boys and girls, look at this map. They are telling you it's a part of Mossel Bay. And then when you look at this, we have the entrances to the entrance to the Bayview Hospital. And boys and girls, as you can see, it doesn't mean that the Bayview Hospital is here. The Bayview Hospital is in here. And how do you see that it is a hospital? There is an icon of a cross showing that it's a hospital. So you need to look at those keys. It doesn't mean if the name is outside, that's where the place is. There, no. This one is just an indicator. As it has a direction there, it has indicated to say, here is the Bayview Hospital. It's not outside, but it is inside the map. Now, boys and girls, this question, it's so easy. This is where you need to start collecting the marks. If you come across this question in the in the exam, don't panic. You are here, you have to sail smooth because there are no challenges. All answers are here. That is why I like the section of the maps and skills. All the answers are there in the map. You don't have to think about the answers. They are right in front of you. All that you need to do is to interpret what you see in front of you. Now let's have a look at question 1.1. It says, write down the grid reference for the Bayview Hospital. Now let's have a look. Bayview Hospital is where it is here. This is block A, column A, and then row number 2. So now you can say A2, the grid reference A2, or you can write it this way, 2A. As you can see, it is here now, A and 2. So meaning it's in row number 2, block A, or column A, row number 2. So now that is why we have A2 or 2A. That is the grid reference. Like I said to you, answers are right in front of you. You don't need to think about the answers. Now let's move on. Question number 1.2. Name 2 streets on either side of the City Hall complex. Now we must go to the map again. We must look forward. The City Hall complex. Here is our City Hall complex. Like I said to you, all the answers are there. Now it says name 2 streets on either side, meaning it can be on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. Now, what are those streets? Because the complex hall is here, and then there's a street here, and then there's a street here. So, meaning it's between what? The Lang Street and the Mesh Street. So boys and girls, like I said to you, all the answers are there. Here is our Lang Street. As you can see, it's on the other side, and then here is the other street, which is a Mesh Street. So meaning the answers are there. You got your answers. 3. Now with 1.3, it says Hendy lives in Brand Street. And then Brand Street, here it is, here it is. In this house, as you can see, it's indicated by X. And then here's the street where he stays, Brand Street. And then he wants to go to the police station. Now, where's the police station? Here is our police station. So now we need to describe the route that he can use now. And then as you can see, meaning from his house, he has to enter here on the Brand Street. And then after entering on the Brand Street, he needs to go where? He needs to go from his house. Remember, now he's inside the yard. And then now he enters the street, which is the Brand Street. Meaning, let's say he's standing now at the gate. Now, standing at the gate, he's looking where? He's looking on his left-hand side. He's also looking into his right-hand side and down. Now, where must he turn now? If he's here, he must turn to the right now. Meaning, he enters the street and then he must turn right here. And then after turning right, he turns right into what now? He moves straight now towards to Montague Street. Here's the street here. And then now, meaning he goes from his house, he turns to the right. And then after turning to the right now, remember we said from here, he goes here and then he goes up. From up here, he'll be at what? At Montague Street. And then from Montague Street, so we said he enters the Brand Street and then turn left. And then turn. So meaning he enters, pardon me, I said he must turn right. No, he must turn left. So he enters the Brand Street now and then he turns what? He turns left. After turning left now, he goes to the junction of Montague. And then when he's at the junction now, he must turn left again. If we can have a look, meaning it is like this. If I may put it this way. Now we say here's the north. And then from this north now, he has to turn left, meaning he's going there. We said it's never, ever smoke weed. And then now he's facing here, he enters the street, and then as he enters the street now, he must turn to the left. He turns to the left now, and then as he's turning to the left, where does he go now? He goes here to the Montague, and then at Montague again now, he will be facing this way now. His north will be there, and then, like I said, never, ever smoke weed. And then now he must turn left again. At Montague, he must turn left now. He will be walking in what now? In Montague again. Now he continues walking in Montague because as you can see, if he can turn right, it won't take him anywhere because there is no route this side that is indicated. Remember, we are working with what? With a street map now. As you can see, there are names of the streets, even though it is placed in what? Inside a grid reference. So we are talking about the street map now. So from here, we said he must turn where? He must turn to the left, and then he continues walking. And then, after turning into Montague, at the junction now, here, he goes straight up. And then now at the junction, he must turn what now? He must walk straight up until. So meaning at the junction, remember here, he can't turn left because it is at the end. There's nothing this side. So he walks from here, turning left, and then from Montague, he continues walking, he turns left, and then he walks straight. At the junction, he continues walking straight up until he comes across this junction now. This junction that takes him to where now? To Mesh Street now. He's now at a corner of Mesh Street. And then as he's at the corner of Mesh Street now, where must he turn now? He's facing this way now. He must turn to his right now. Walk down up until he comes what? He passes the High Street. So remember we said we have to give the directions. So now he has turned to the right hand side now. As you can see, because the north is here, and then he's turning to the eastern side, which will be our right hand side. He walks straight and past the high street. After passing the high street, and then he will come across what? The police station, which will be where now, because now the north is here, the police station will be on his left hand side. Here is the police station now, where it is. So now, like I said to you, when you give directions, you don't just say turn right, or short left, short right. No, you say when you enter the street from your house, you need to enter the street, and then after entering the street, you'll be facing north. And then where do you turn? Do you turn to the right or do you turn to the left? But with this one, he has to turn to the left hand side, and then he walks up until the junction. Straight away he comes across another street named Montague, and then from the Montague, then he turns again to what? To the right hand to the left hand side, and then he walks up until the junction. At the junction now, he comes across a street named what? Named the Mesh Street, and then at Mesh Street now, he needs to turn what? He needs to turn to the right, and then he goes straight. After turning to the right, he goes straight and then passes what? Passes the high street. The high street will be where? On the left hand side, and then immediately after passing the high street, now he comes across what? The police station. Like I said to you, when you give direction, place yourself in the position of that person that you are directing, and then say move this way, and then turn there, then you'll get to your destination. And it's so easy when you are using the compass direction. You won't go wrong. So when you describe following the directions to say, okay, fine, this person moves here, goes there, and then turns there, and so on. So you need to be accurate. Now let's have a look at this one. It says Hendy covers 2.4 kilometers in what? In 0.16 hours. So meaning when he takes his afternoon walks or his morning walks, he covers 2.4 kilometers. That's what the distance that he walks, and that 2.4 kilometers, he does it in what? In 0.16 hours. Now let's have a look. It says calculate the average speed in what? We calculate the average speed in kilometers per hour. So they are telling us now, remember what I said to you, the examiner will be direct, will tell you, okay, fine, I want your answer to be in kilometers per hour or in meters per second or what. So now you say, okay, fine, this is kilometers per hour at which he cycles. So remember I said he takes his afternoon walk. So this time they are telling us that he is cycling. So when he cycles, he covers the 2.4 kilometers in 0.16 hours. And then it says you may use the following formula. And remember this formula, this is a standard formula. But when a question comes, you will check, am I given the formula in which way? Like this one, it says the average speed. This is the standard formula. We know that when you calculate the speed, we say the speed is equal to distance over time. Usually we use this one. We use this triangle. Don't forget. We say distance, speed, and time. And then on this line, this is the division line, and then this is the multiplication line. So now here it says distance, and then when we want to calculate calculate the distance, and then what we do, we just hide the distance, and then we have, okay, fine, let me continue, let me go back. Okay, fine. Now we say you cover this, the speed, and then what is the speed? The speed is distance over time, and then that's the formula we are given. And then what is our distance given here? It is 2.4 kilometers. And then the time, because the time is so straight, they told us it's 0.16 hours, and then we just divide, because the question says calculate his average speed in what? In kilometers per hour, and then we just divide by 0.16 hours, so that our answer is in kilometers per hour. Don't forget this person, this guy, you see this It's very important. Don't go into the exam without your calculator. We need to be accurate. Now let's use our calculator to get the answer. We say 2,4, and then we divide it by what? By 0,16. And then we got our answer to be 15 kilometers per hour. That is the speed that he is traveling, 15 kilometers per hour. And it's so straightforward because we are given the time in hours. If the time was given in minutes, then you need to convert the minutes to hours, because the question says you must have your answer in kilometers per hour. If the distance was given, say suppose the distance is given in kilometers, in meters, and then the question wants you to calculate the average speed in kilometers per hour. So that means step number 1, you have to convert the meters into kilometers, and then step number 2, you convert the hours, the minutes into hours, and then you substitute in a formula, then you work it out, you get your answer. Don't substitute without converting, because it's easier when you convert earlier in the question, so that when you do your calculations, it works out much easier, unlike converting on the calculation itself. Now let's have a look at this one, boys and girls. This is another type of map that you can come across. As you can see, this one is from Western Cape Prelim 2023. On that one, we're dealing with what? With a street map. Now here, this one, let's have a look. This one is what? It's a route map, as you can see. And it shows a section again of a Swartberg, meaning a place in Cape Town. So now this person, let's have a look at the story first. Always when you come across a question, when you start a new question, start by reading the information given inside the box. Don't discard that information, because that's where you are going to get your answers. Now it says Isaac's family wants to do the Swartberg cycle route in December holidays. Annexure A, this is our Annexure A, and always you must know when they say Annexure A, meaning you have to refer, you'll be given an addendum, or actually in our maths lit paper, the addendum now is attached on the paper. When you get your question paper, you just detach the addendum, you put it aside, and then you check, okay, fine, what are they saying with this addendum now? They're saying to us, okay, fine, Annexure A. You go to your addendum, you look for Annexure A. The question is question 2, and then where's the annexure? It's Annexure A. You go to your addendum, you look for Annexure A under question 2. Annexure A shows the map of the Swartberg cycle route. The Swartberg cycle route is a scenic drive that takes you from Oudtshoorn or Calitzdorp. Now let's have a look. Here it's our Oudtshoorn, the place that they're talking about, or Calitzdorp. And then over the Swartberg Pass, meaning it goes up there, because here the Swartberg mountains. So it goes from here, it goes there, it uses the N12. But now these people, they are not driving along the route, they're here. Here, as you can see, this one, they are the mountain climbers, or what do they call them? The hiking. It's a hiking spot here. You look at these keynotes. These keynotes, they're not there to make your paper look fancy, but they're there to guide you. Now, let's have a look. It says, Calitzdorp over the Swartberg Pass to the towns of De Rust. So now, here it is Calitzdorp, Oudtshoorn, and then you go up with the De Rust, and then Klarstrom, this our Klarstrom, and Prince Albert, meaning they will be cycling from this end. They can start here at Calitzdorp, or they can start here at Oudtshoorn, and then they cycle right around up until they get to Prince Albert. Now, when driving, allow yourself about 10 minutes this information is there, and then you'll see when you go to the questions, if that information is going to be used by or not. But each and every single information that you get inside the block, it's very important that you understand you understand it. You analyze first the story given, the context given, and then you start answering after you have analyzed. So it says, when driving, allow yourself about 10 minutes to reach the pass from Prince Albert and 20 minutes from Oudtshoorn, and then while setting aside roughly 1 hour for the 27-kilometer pass itself. So meaning right around, it's 27 kilometers. So they have dissected it or breaking it down in terms of minutes to say from one point to the other. If you are driving, it can take you 10 minutes, and then from the other point to the next one, it will take you 20 minutes. Like they say, roughly, or all in all, it can take you 27 kilometers for how many hours? It depends, like it has guided you. Now, let's have a look at the questions. Boys and girls, I want to cover as much as we can so that we don't forget anything, so that when we revise now, when it comes to the maps and scale, you sail smooth in the exam. You don't need to scratch your head. You look at the map, you analyze the map, and then say, okay, where is my north? There's my north. It's facing up there. My true north, it's indicated. Okay, I've got the key there, the key points that shows me the points, the structures, or maybe that shows us where is the restaurant, where is the nature game reserves, where's the wineries, hiking spot, or the ostrich farm. So those keys, they are there to guide us as well. And then at the bottom here, as you can see, there is what at the bottom, there is a chart that shows the distance that you can travel from one point to the other if you are using this shorter route or the longest route. Now it says, use the annexure A and the above information to answer the following questions. Remember the annexure A above. Here's our annexure A and the information that was given above. Remember, in your question paper, the information will be there, will be above, and then the map also will be there, and then the questions will follow at the bottom. Now it says, identify the tourist attraction in Calitzdorp. Now let's have a look. Where's Calitzdorp? Here is our Calitzdorp. And then what can we see there? We are seeing the grapes here, and then what are they? It is what the wineries, because they said identify. Here's the answer. The answer is here. You don't need to think, because what you do, you went to Calitzdorp, and then next to Calitzdorp, and then they say tourist attraction. Okay, what do we see there next to the Calitzdorp is the grapes, and what do those grapes represent? They represent the wineries. So now you know you have your 2 marks. The answer is there. All that you needed to do was to identify the place and then identify the tourist attraction. Write down the compass direction from Oudtshoorn. Here's our Oudtshoorn. Now look at this. It says write down the compass direction of Volmoed from Oudtshoorn. So we are going to Volmoed, but where are we starting? We are starting at Oudtshoorn. Now here's our Oudtshoorn, and then where's our Volmoed? Here it is. And then now, for you to be able, because they want you to direct from Oudtshoorn to Volmoed. So now you come here, you draw your compass direction right on top of Oudtshoorn. And then now you see, okay, this is my north, east, south, and west. Now they want me to give direction from Oudtshoorn. Here it's Oudtshoorn, and then where is Volmoed? Volmoed is here. This is where I'm going. Now when you have a look here, the answer is southwest. As you can see, I've drawn my compass direction, and then I look from Oudtshoorn to the full moon, and then it gives me southwest because it's in between. It is southwest. Can you see, boys and girls? Like I said to you, the answers are there. You don't need to think about those answers. They are right there. Now, let's continue. It says, describe the location of the Maringspoort waterfall using the towns and routes in the area. Now, let's have a look. We look at Maringspoort. Here it is our Maringspoort waterfall. Now it says, describe the location of the Maringspoort waterfall using the towns and the routes. Now, when they say using the towns, where is Maringspoort? It's here. And then which towns? It's between De Rust, meaning it is between De Rust and what? And Claustrum. It's right in between the two. It's between De Rust and Claustrum. And then because they said these are the towns, these are the two towns where it is. And then they said also the routes. Now, the routes, as you can see, here is one route. It's 407. Yes. I think, remember, you'll be having your map now. And as you'll be having your map, it will show you directly where you are supposed to go. It will be clear enough. With the map, they give us a clear picture. You don't need to wear even the glasses. If you wear glasses, I'm telling you, you are going to spot the answers very quick. So now looking at this, we said it is between what? Between the De Rust and Claustrum. And then now this one, again, when we use the routes, if we can check there, this is R407. Boys and girls, you'll be having the map in front of you. So here it is R407, and then here it is N12. So with the routes, it's between R407 and N12. That's where you'll find the Maringspoort waterfall. So boys and girls, you just need to identify the place. When you do this, you look at the map and then you identify the place, you get the answers correct, then you are done. Now they say, let's go to the next question. There are two possible routes from Oudtshoorn to Prince Albert. A shorter direct route or a longer route via N12. Calculate the difference in kilometers between the two routes. Now here, if you have a look here at the bottom, we have a distance chart whereby you can see clearly on the distance chart there, it shows us that from Oudtshoorn to De Rust is 35 kilometers, and then you go to the Claustrum, it's 57.5, and then you go to the next one to Prince Albert, it's 70.5, or when you go to Calitzdorp, it's 50 kilometers from Oudtshoorn. So now the shorter route, if I leave from Oudtshoorn to Prince Albert, here it is 70.5. So now let's start with the shorter route. A shorter route is equals to what? 70.5 kilometers. And then now let's have a look at the longest route. Now remember, they told us that this route passes there. Now where are we going? It says possible routes from Oudtshoorn to Prince Albert. Now let's have a look at the longer route now. The longer route, meaning from Oudtshoorn, you'll pass where at De Rust. De Rust, this one, it's longer route, whereby what are we having? We are having this one. the 35 kilometers, the first one. So meaning from Oudtshoorn to De Rust is 35 kilometers, 35 km plus. Now remember, we are saying we are going to what? To Prince Albert. And then now we say from De Rust to what is this? Klerksdorp. Now we are going to Klerksdorp. Remember, we are going to Prince Albert. Now we say from Oudtshoorn, it's 35 kilometers to De Rust, and then from there we are adding what? Another 23 kilometers. Meaning from De Rust to Klerksdorp is 23 kilometers. And then we have to add the 23 kilometers. Boys and girls, this information is here. As you can see, we started with Oudtshoorn to De Rust. We said it's 35 kilometers. And then from De Rust to Klerksdorp is 23 kilometers. Now from Klerksdorp to where? To Prince Albert. It's how many kilometers? It is 52 kilometers. We add 52 kilometers. So meaning these are the three distances: 35, 23, and 52. That one, it is the longest route, because now remember they are moving from one area, from Oudtshoorn to De Rust, and then from De Rust they are going to Klerksdorp. From Klerksdorp they are going to Prince Albert. Now let's use our calculator now to get the answer. Remember, I said the calculator, it always gives us a correct info, the correct answer. Now we said it's 35 kilometers plus 23 kilometers plus 52 kilometers. That leaves us with what? With 110 kilometers. Have we answered the question? No. The question says there are two possible routes from Oudtshoorn to Prince Albert: a shorter direct route, or a longer route via N12. So now it says calculate. Question says calculate the difference in kilometers. So we have done the shorter route, which is 70 kilometers, and then the longer route, it gives us 110 kilometers. Now question wants us to calculate the difference. Now we're saying the difference is equals to 110 kilometers minus the 70.5 kilometers. So it's 110 minus 70.5, and then our answer is 39.5. So our difference is 39.5 kilometers. Now we have answered our question. Boys and girls, you must also remember one thing. In mathematical literacy, when you talk about the difference, we don't want to hear about the colors, whether the other one is big or the other one is small or the other one is blue or white. No, we want the difference, meaning you have to subtract. When you talk about the difference, we are subtracting. Don't forget that. Now, let's have a look at this one. Now, it says the measured distance between Klerksdorp and Oudtshoorn is 10.5 centimeters. Meaning they have given us the measured distance between the two is 10.5 centimeters. And then determine the scale of the map in the form of 1:2 something. And then now remember one thing. We say the distance when we measure from where? From Klerksdorp. Where's Klerksdorp? Here is our Klerksdorp. And then where is the Oudtshoorn? Oudtshoorn is here. Now they say the distance from here up until here. We use a crow fly. You take your ruler, you place it from here, from the one end, you measure straight up until here to Oudtshoorn. And then when they measure that distance, it gave them 10.5 centimeters. And then now they're telling us, remember when we write on a map, we say 1:2, meaning they want to know what is the map scale. We say 1 on the map represents this number of centimeters in the reality. So now they want the answer to be like that. Now here, when we look at our chart here, the distance chart, so the distance from Oudtshoorn to Kalisdorp is what? It's 50 kilometers. So meaning it's 10.5 centimeters is equals to 50 kilometers. But boys and girls, can I really use 50 kilometers and centimeters in one equation or in one calculation? No, I have to convert the kilometers. Remember, when we measure using the centimeters or millimeters. So that means I have to convert my 50 kilometers. I have to convert this 50 kilometers into what? Into centimeters. And then how do I do that? Remember this table, it's so important, the conversion table: kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. So from bigger unit to a smaller unit, we multiply by 1,000. From kilometers to meters, we multiply by 1,000. And then from meters to centimeters, we multiply by 100. And then from centimeters to millimeters, we multiply by 10. So when we do the reversal from a smaller unit to the bigger unit, we divide with the same unit. Now, we say divide by 100. And then here we'll divide by 1,000. When you convert from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you divide, and then when you convert from the bigger unit to the smaller unit, you multiply. Now we want to convert what? The 50 kilometers. 50 kilometers to what? To centimeters. And then from a kilometer to meter, we multiply by 1,000. And then from meter to centimeter, we multiply by 100. So meaning we'll multiply this 50,000 by 100,000. That will give us 1,000,000. Then it will be 10.5 centimeters is equals to 5 million centimeters. 6 zeros. How many zeros it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we multiply 5 multiplied by 1, it's 5, and then the 6 zeros they are there. So now we know that 10.5 will represent 10.5 centimeters represents 5 million centimeters. And then because they said our scale must be in 1:2, then we have to divide here by 10.5 centimeters, and we also divide by 10.5 centimeters. Then let's quickly do our calculation. Here we'll have 1, as they will cancel out, you will have 1:5 million divided by 10.5. Then it will give us, and then they said, okay, determine the scale of the map in a form of, they never said anything about rounding up or rounding down. So it will be 4,761,9, 4,762. That is the scale that we are using. We say 1 in the map, 1 unit on the map represents 4,761,9,4762 units in the reality. Boys and girls, like I said to you, it's very simple. When you get this, you look at the information given and then you start attempting to answer it after you have gone through the story inside the box. Remember that information in the box is so important for you to understand. Now, let's have a look at the next question now. The next question is an elevation map. Boys and girls, remember I said with an elevation map, we can see the distances from the top, from the sea level. And then now it says the Tour de France is the biggest cycle race in the world. The second stage of the race is shown in Annexure C. So meaning here is our Annexure C. As we can see now, here it shows the distance from the height from the sea level all the way from different areas. So they will tell you from 9,5 to 41, and then what is the height above the sea level, and then it has the names and so on. So you just need to have a look at that and then analyze the elevation map given or the map given. Let's have a look at the question now. It says, use the information in Annexure C alongside to answer the following questions. Identify the type of map shown in Annexure C. So we said it is what? It is an elevation map. That is the name of the map, elevation map. And then let's move on to the next one. Determine how many meters above sea level the starting point at Victoria Gadzis is. Now, when you look at this, here is our Victoria, the Victoria Gadzis, and then the height above sea level is what? Is 510. You see, boys and girls, 510 meters. Remember, I said to you, the answers are there. That is why I like this topic so much, the maps and scales, because all the answers are there in the map. You don't need to think everything is given to you. You just need to interpret what is right in front of you. Now, let's go to the next question. Let me see first if, okay, fine, I have done it. Let's go to the next one now. Okay, fine. This one, we are done with it. Okay, we are done with this one. Let's go to the next one now. It says, determine the total distance of this stage of the race. What is the total distance? When you look at here, at the map here, from this point up until here, it's what? 210 kilometers. That is the total distance. You identify the answers because this is where it starts at the second level, and then this is where it ends, as you can see, and then it ends there. Then it's 210 kilometers. And then let's go to the next one. It says, calculate the distance between the Longishio and Hernani. Now let's have a look. Here is our Longishio. Here it is. And then now, where is our Hernani? Here is our Hernani. And then what is the distance from Longishio? It's 41 kilometers. And then at Hernani, it sits at 159. So now if they want us to calculate the distance, you just say Hernani, it's 159. The bigger number, 159 kilometers. We subtract the 41 kilometers, and then we get our answer. It's 159 subtract 41. We get our answer to be 118 kilometers, because it says calculate the distance between the Longishio and Hernani. So you just identify the answers. Now it says, calculate, the next one, calculate the speed of the cyclist traveling in the last leg. Where is the last leg? Here's the last leg now. Here is our last leg. Like we are on the final leg before we write our exams. We are left with what? Less than a month, which is about 3 weeks from now. We'll be writing our maths lit paper 1 and 2. Now calculate the speed of the cyclist traveling if the last leg between the two places of the race was finished in 35 minutes. So now they're telling us the time they finished in what? In 35 minutes. And did they say anything about your answer to be in, because it says calculate the speed. They never said anything about whether your answer should be in kilometers per hour or kilometers per minute. So because it was not mentioned, we'll just calculate the way it is. Now we have to find the distance between the 2 points, between the last leg, the distance between the last leg and the final point. Now it's what? It will be distance Distance is 210 minus 192.5. That will be our distance. Let's quickly do it. 210 minus 192.5. And then we get our answer to be 17.5 kilometers. That is the distance. Now with this distance, remember they said we need to calculate the speed, and then we said the formula for speed is equals to distance over time. Now our distance, I'll just work on this space, boys and girls. Our distance, we say speed is equals to, our distance is 17.5 kilometers, and then we divide it by what? We can divide it straight with 35 minutes because the question never said anything about whether you should leave your answer as kilometers per hour or kilometers per minute. So if we use the 35 minutes, it will be 17.5. We divide it by 35 minutes. It will be 0.5 kilometers per minute. If you want to give your answer, remember the examiner can be specific to say, now I want your answer to be in kilometers per minute or kilometers per hour. So if we were to do it in kilometers per hour, remember what is important now. If we want our answer to be in kilometers per hour, we need to convert our time. Our time. We need to convert 35 minutes. 35 minutes into hours. And then how do we convert 35 minutes into hours? We know that 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. And then we say here it's 35 minutes is equals to unknown. And then for us to get this unknown, then we say unknown will be 35 minutes, we divide it by 60. We do the cross multiplication. So let's quickly do it. 35 divided by 60, it will be 0.58333 hours. And then if we are to use the hours now, our speed, remember this one ends here. If we are to use the hours now, our speed will be 17.5 divided, I don't have a space, I'll just write it here, divided by 0.583. 3, many threes. So 333 hours, and then it will be, let's quickly do it, 17.5 divided by 0.5833333. Then our answer will be in 30 kilometers per hour. That will be your final answer. The speed will be in 30. You will be cycling with a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. If we are using kilometers per minute, it will be 0.5 kilometers per minute. Don't forget, you always check the examiner. What do they want to do? They want the answer to be in kilometers per hour, or in kilometers per minute, or in meters per minute or meters per second. So it will depend. Look at that information before you can conclude to say, I am going to leave my answer in this one. Now let's go to our question 4. Before we can start our question 4, boys and girls, let's take a minute break so that we go and drink water, and then when we come back, we continue with our question 4. Meanwhile, let me just go through this information, and then we can take a break afterwards. Tshepo is planning to travel from Centurion to visit his family in Soweto. He studies a map as he is a new driver. Study the map in Annexure C and answer the following questions. Now, boys and girls, like I said to you, we are going to do this question. Let's take a minute break and then we start doing it. While we are still thinking, I know the Gauteng learners, you have seen this question. It was in your prelim paper 2 now. So let's take a minute and then drink water and then we come back. We finalize our presentation. Welcome back, boys and girls. I hope you are still with me. We are still together on this one as we need to nail this question. Like I said, these maps and scales, it's the easiest questions in your prelim paper, paper 2. Remember, we have measurement and maps and scales. So here you need to nail it down because like I said to you, all the answers are there. You don't need to think about the answers. They are right in front of you. You just need to interpret the map that is in front of you. Like I said, Tshepo is planning to travel from Centurion to visit his family in Soweto. He studies a map as he is a new driver. Study the map in Annexure C. Remember what I said about the annexure? You go to your addendum, you look for the Annexure C and then the question as well. So it means it will say Annexure C, question 4. Then you know that is the right addendum that you are to use, or that is the right annexure that you are to use. And then Annexure C and answer the following questions. Let's have a look at the questions. And before we can look at the questions, boys and girls, what are we given? Here it is a provincial map. And then from this provincial map, boys and girls, we have a scale right there at the bottom. Which scale are we given? We are given the bar scale or a linear scale or a line scale. Here it is a line scale or a linear scale. That is the scale that is given to us. And our true north is there. It's facing up. Now let's go to the questions that we need to answer. Name the type of scale. Look at this. I have already answered this question before I can even go to the questions, because what I have identified, I've identified the bar scale or the linear scale. I said, oh, okay, fine. I know this type of scale that is given that I have to use. Now, the first question says, name the type of scale that is used in the map. So we can say it is a bar scale or a line scale, or a linear scale. So it's there. You just identified. They wanted you to identify this scale. And then we go to the next one. Name the neighboring provinces found on the eastern and the western side of Gauteng. Remember what I said to you. Where is Gauteng? We have now to look. Remember, here is Gauteng. And then now we have to look. If it's Gauteng here, we draw our compass. Never, because our North is facing up. Never, ever smoke weed. Now, let's have a look at the eastern side. Which province, the neighboring province that we find on the eastern side? Here's our eastern side. And which province is that one? Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga, it's where it is on the eastern side. And then on the western side, here is our western side, and then here is the province that we find there, which is north west. So can you see, boys and girls, like I said to you, the answers are there right in front of you. They wanted you to identify the neighboring provinces found on the eastern side and on the western side. So when you look, here's Gauteng, and then you draw your compass direction. Where is your eastern side? Here's the eastern side, and then which province? It's Mpumalanga. And then on your western side, which province? It is northwest. We are done. You have 4 marks or 2 marks. If the examiner has allocated 2 marks, it will be 2 marks for free, or 4 marks for free, just for identifying the correct provinces, the neighboring provinces. Now it says, use the given scale. Here is our scale, boys and girls. It says, use the given scale to calculate the actual distance between Centurion and Soweto. Round off your answer to the nearest kilometer. You see now, it says you need to round off your answer to the nearest kilometer. So meaning, if you measure, you'll measure using the centimeters or millimeters, but you can do your calculation using those centimeters, and then when you're done, you will have to have your answer now in what? In kilometers. Now let's have a look at this one. What are we saying here? Because we are given the bar scale. Step number 1. Remember what I said to you? You can't be working with the bar as it is. You need to measure one segment of the bar, or you can measure the entire bar. So what do I mean? We can either measure from here, from 0 to 15, or you can measure from the bar from 0 up until the last number, which is 75 kilometers. I don't know how your teacher taught you, but you can use the method that the teacher taught you in class to say, now, when you deal with the bar scale, you take your ruler, you place it here, you measure from here, from 0 up until 15, and then you say 1 bar, 1 segment of a bar. Meaning, when I measure that 1 segment of the bar, now I got the bar length. Let me just write it here. The bar length, I got it as 1,1 centimeters. That is the bar length. And then now, the map length, remember it says measure, calculate, use the given scale to calculate the actual distance between Centurion and Soweto. Now I know that 1 bar, it measures 1,1 centimeters. That is the 1 bar. And now we say this 1 bar, we know that 1 bar is equals to what again? According to this here, it is equals to 15 kilometers. So meaning 1,1 centimeters is equals to 15 kilometers. Because when I measure this segment here, it gave me 1,1 centimeters. And then that 1,1 centimeters, it represents what? 15 kilometers. Now I go back to where now? I must go back to my map. The map, the question again, it says between Centurion and Soweto. Now I must go to Soweto. Now let's have a look. Here is our Soweto. There it is. And then let's hunt for Centurion. There is our Centurion. Now we need to measure. Now we take a ruler, and then now you need to measure the distance between the two. So you'll place your ruler here, and then you measure right up until there. So you need to measure using your ruler in centimeters, because already they have guided us. We use the centimeters. So now when we measure to the distance of 5,1 centimeters is equals to how many kilometers now? If 1 centimeter 1,1 centimeter is equals to 15, and then now we say 5,1 centimeters is equals to how many kilometers? And then it's so simple, we do our cross multiplication, and then with our cross multiplication we say this one, it will be 15 kilometers. I can simply multiply it. Okay, I multiply it by 5,1, and then I divide by 1,1. So remember, now I am doing the cross multiplication. 5,1 multiplied by 15, and then remember here it was unknown, and then it comes here, and then it becomes unknown. Then quickly doing that calculation, it will be 5,1 here, 5,1 kilometers. I don't have enough space, or I'll try to write it somewhere where you can see it clearly. And then we quickly say 15 multiplied by 5,1, it will give us 76,5, and then we divide it by 1,1. The answer will be 69. Our answer is 69,54. Oh, yes. So now they said your answer must be to the nearest kilometers. So you can say it's 70 kilometers. Remember, this centimeter, it has cancel out with this centimeter. We are just left with what? With the kilometers. So you do the cross multiplication. In this exercise, boys and girls, what is important? You start by measuring the segment of the bar. You can either measure the entire bar from this end up until this end to say, when I measure the entire bar, this is the measurement, this is the units that I'm getting using my what? My ruler. And in what? In centimeters or in millimeters. And then I know that if I've measured the entire bar and then I get the answer, then I know the entire bar will be equals to 75 kilometers. Or if I have measured one segment of the bar, like I have done here, I have just measured one segment of the bar, and remember, like I said, you'll be given the annexation, then you just measure the one segment of the bar, and then after measuring the one segment of the bar, then what you do, you say, okay, fine, 1,1 centimeter of the bar represents what? 15 kilometers. And then after that, you go back to the question. They said measure the distance between these two places, Centurion and Soweto. So you go to Soweto on your map, and then you also go to Centurion, you place your ruler there, you measure the distance between the two. We got the distance to be what? To be 5,1. We got our distance to be 5,1 centimeters. Why am I writing 5,1 on the left hand side? Because it is the map one. It's the map distance. And then what I want to know, it is the actual distance. And then now I perform my calculation, the cross multiplication. And as I perform my cross multiplication, it's so simple. It becomes 15. This centimeter will cancel out with the centimeter because I'm looking for the actual distance, which is in kilometers. Then it will be 15 multiplied by 5,1, and then we divide it by 1,1. It gave us what? 69,54. And because they said it's in kilometers, they said your answer must be in what? To the nearest kilometers. And then 69,5, it is what? 70 kilometers. I hope you got it, boys and girls, and I hope you won't make the same mistake of not doing the conversion, or maybe not doing the correct calculation. Now let's have a look at this one. Hence determine the number of liters of petrol required to cover the return trip if the consumption rate of Tsepo's car is 0.086 liters per kilometer. How many kilometers did Tsepo travel from his place? How many kilometers has Tsepo traveled from his place to Centurion? From Soweto to Centurion, he traveled single trip. Single trip is equals to 70 kilometers. Remember, we calculated that at the top. And then now, return, because he's not going to stay there. Return trip. Boys and girls, it's very important that you do the return trip so that you know the number of liters that he is going to use. And then it will be 70 times 2, which will be 140 kilometers. That is the distance that Tsepo is going to travel. And then how many liters of petrol is he going to use now? So now we say 1 liter uses 0.086. 1 kilometer uses 0.0686. 0.086 liters, and then 140 kilometers will use how many liters? It's so simple. We therefore saying unknown is equals to 140 multiply. Remember, these units will cancel out because we want the number of liters, and then we say 140 multiplied by 0.086 liters. And then let's quickly do it. It will be 140 multiplied by 0.086 liters, and then we get our answer to be, our answer now is 12.04 liters. That is the petrol consumption that Tsepo's car is going to use. So meaning when Tsepo leaves his place, going to his friend's house at Centurion or Soweto, he will travel 70 kilometers, and then return trip it will be 140 kilometers. And now per kilometer, his car uses 0.086 liters. And then now the total number of liters that Tsepo would have used for going there and coming back, it will be 12.04 liters. Boys and girls, I know you always make a mistake. You forget to do what? The return trip. You only focus on the single trip of going there. You don't multiply by 2. Here in this instance, you needed to multiply by 2 because it's a return trip. He's not going to stay there. He's just visiting. Don't forget that. Now let's have a look at this question. The strip chart or a strip plane or a strip map or a strip chart. Now let's have a look at this one. It says, Maria works in Durban and traveled to Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha, for her sister's wedding. She uses the map shown alongside to guide her during the journey. Maria works in Durban. The strip chart is also so simple, boys and girls. As you can see along the sides here is the number of kilometers travel that you will travel from one place to the other using what the national routes as indicated here. As you can see here, the national routes and then the regional are going inside. So meaning the strip chart will show us the demarcation, the political demarcations and so on with the strip chart. And then we say Maria works in Durban and traveled to Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha, for her sister's wedding. She used the map shown alongside to guide her during the journey. Number 1, use the map above or the map alongside to answer the questions that follow. Identify the type of map used. We said it is a strip chart, or you can even say a strip map. It's so simple, boys and girls. All the answers are there because you have done different kinds of maps in your class with your teacher. You know how to calculate or you know how to read the map, and you know how to identify the map by its name or the way it looks. You are able to say, okay, this one, it is a strip chart or a strip map. Let's move on. Write down the name of the national route that connects Durban and Port Elizabeth. The national route, meaning we have to look for the N. Remember what I said? The national, it's identified by N, and then the regional, it will be R, the municipal, it will be the M. So now the question here, it says, write down the national route that connects Durban and Port Elizabeth. Looking at this one, here is Durban. And then she moves along. She can go to Pietermaritzburg using the N3 and then use the regional one, or she can just go straight here. Yes, she can go, or she can go from Durban to Pietermaritzburg using N3 and then use the R72 and R56 from Pietermaritzburg to Kokstad. He can use the R56 and then he goes back. So meaning the national route that joins Durban and Pietermaritzburg, it will be N2 because this is where Maria will be traveling to get to Durban. She'll be traveling this way. Or maybe she can even travel this way. But the one that connects Durban and Port Elizabeth, it is N2. So simple, boys and girls. You just identify. You see, okay, fine. Here is Durban, and then here is Port Elizabeth. Oh, the national route that connects the two is N2. You are done. Determine the distance in meters between Port Elizabeth and Durban. Now, boys and girls, if we have a look on the side here, at the bottom here, it says Port Elizabeth. Right at the top there, it is Durban. So meaning this strip chart, it's a part of the map that shows the distance between Durban and Port Elizabeth. So now, here is the distance. From Port Elizabeth to Durban, you will travel 964 kilometers. Even if we can start at Durban, same from Durban to PE, it will still give us what? 964. So it's the same. This side, on the sides of your strip chart, that's where you'll get the distances from one area to the other. So it's 964 kilometers. But did we answer our question? No, we did not answer our question because the question says the answer must be in meters. And then now we just need to convert the 964 kilometers into meters. Now remember our chart again: kilometers, meters, centimeters and millimeters. From kilometer to meter, we multiply by 1,000. So 964 kilometers, and then we quickly say, okay, fine. 964, we convert it to meters. We have to convert it to meters. So 964, we just multiply it by 1,000, and then it will give us what? Let's quickly do it. 964 multiplied by 1,000. It will be 964,000 meters, because the question says determine the distance in meters. Don't forget, you have to convert your answer to meters. Don't leave it as kilometers. So we identify the distance to be 964, and then we convert that 964 to meters. It's very important you check the question. What does it want? Does it want your answer to be in meters or what? Identify the last town Maria must drive through before reaching Port Elizabeth. Now, Maria will, like I said, she will be driving from Durban. There she is. She comes, and then she's using N2. The last town before she can reach Port Elizabeth, it is what? It is this one, Grahamstown. That is Grahamstown. That will be the last town that she will pass before she gets to Port Elizabeth. So it's so simple. Like I said, answers are there. You don't need to scratch your head. Now let's do this one. Write down the names of any two regional roads appearing on the map. Any two. You go to your map, you look at the regional roads. I said to you, how do we identify the regional roads? We identify the regional roads with an R. Now, which one do we see? Number one, I can see R101. I can see R617. I can see R56. Because they said any, I can see R61. You just go through your map and say, okay, fine. I can also see R72. These are the regional roads that I'm talking about. Can you see them? These are the ones that I can see. You must also check where you get to come across the R, and then you just write it down, R72 again. Yes, these are the R or the regional roads that I can identify. So you just mention any two. You don't need to scratch your head. Answers are there. Get the marks. These are the marks for free. Now, the last one. Identify the national park shown on the map. Identify the national park shown on the map. And then here we have a key note that says NP stands for what? The national park. The national park. And looking at this map, all that I can come across, it is this one. Here's the NP. Is there any other NP anywhere else? No. This is the only NP that I can see. So meaning the answer is what? It is Ado Elephant National Park. So boys and girls, when you practice or when you revise and preparing for your finals, you need to remember this section of maps, scales, and other representation. Maps and scales are the easiest ones that you can get the marks for free. You don't need to scratch your head. All that you need to do when you get your question paper, go through your question paper, go through the annexure. Remember the annexures, they can be on the addendum, and then you detach the addendum, and then you place it on along your side, along the side on your table, and then now you go through, okay, fine, here's the annexure C, here's the annexure D, annexure A, or whatever that is given. And then when they say refer to annexure C, you go to annexure C, you refer to it, and then you identify the questions, and then you start going through what the information given inside the box. And then as you go through that information inside given the box, the scenario, you read the scenario. After reading the scenario, you go straight to the annexure. After going through the annexure, now you go to your questions. You check the highlights, you underline as you're going through the scenario, underline the key words or the key points, and then you go through your annexure, you go to your question. Now when on your questions, now you identify, you read the question, and then you go back to the annexure, you go back to the scenario, you get the answer. With the maps and scales, all the answers are there, especially with the maps. What you need to do, what is important, you should be able to use a compass direction. to direct a person from one point to the other. You should be able to read the map, use the linear scale and the number scale given. You identify the scale given on the map. If you are given the bar scale, remember the bar scale, you have to measure the bar and then you convert the bar scale into what now? Into a number scale or a ratio scale. And remember the number scale, it will be given as 1:2 in a ratio from 1:2. And then once you see 1:2, it means it's 1 unit on the map represent. So the questions that you can come across, they can ask you whether to write the scale they can ask you to write the scale or use the given scale to get the actual distance or to get the map distance. And the map distance you just measure, or if it has been measured for you, they can maybe ask you to get the actual distance. And then you look at the question, okay, fine. Do they want my answer to be in meters or kilometers? If they want my answer to be in kilometers, then you convert your answer to kilometers, because when we measure, we said we measure using the millimeters and centimeters. From there, with the grid reference, it's so easy. You also get the answers from the grid there. You read the grid, say, okay, fine, it is where in row 1 or column 1, row 2 or what, then you get your answers. And then when you give directions, you use the compass direction, and then you remember you also use the turn left, turn right, go up, go down. Those are the key aspects that you can look for when you deal with the maps and scale. Everything is there. You just need to interpret the questions and then you get your answers. I hope you have rectified the mistakes, or you have identified the mistakes that you have done in the prelim, and I hope we have cleared all those errors that you have done, and then you'll be able to answer these questions at your own time. Now at home, go through that questions again and then answer them. Then you'll see in the final exams, you are going to get 100% when it comes to what? To the maps and scales, because you need to collect that maps, that 100% there. That 35%, we need to get it as it is, so that even when we deal with the measurement, we know with this one, the maps and scales, we have the 35% in the bag. Before I can go, let's quickly and see what is the 35% of what? Of 150, 35% of what? Of 150. So, meaning the maps and scales, it's a plus or minus 50 marks for the maps and scales only. 50 marks, you know you have it. It's already in the bag. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Keep on going through these videos. Play all the videos that we have that you have broadcasted before. Go through them and then see where you have gone wrong, and then you have a class or you have a teacher at your comfort of your home. Go through, revisit those videos, and then check everything where you have not being able to get the answers correctly, and then get them correct, so that when you write your final exams, you are ready. Thank you for watching. See you next time in the next lesson. Bye-bye.